Welcome back to the channel, you guys. We just finished the interior over here yesterday on our slick top, where we're now a two-tone red and black interior like this, which I'm absolutely in love with. I can't quit thinking about it. Matter of fact, I can't quit thinking about driving and riding in this car. So to aid in our process of getting this car all put back together, we actually have to finish our daily right now. It's having some wheel shaking problems. We're going to check over some suspension, replace the ball joint, and I actually have two PCV valves that I have to replace because I'm using oil like mad. She sure loves to play. It's actually getting pretty warm out here. Spring's finally coming around. It's like 70 degrees outside right now, and I actually need to take this sweatshirt off. We got a few things we need to do here with the drift car, especially move it so we can get this back here. A couple weeks ago when I was fresh out of surgery, I replaced the driver's side ball joint. I don't know, we'll see when we get under there, but we actually bought another one so we can replace the other ball joint. And honestly, I'm forgetting of something else. I know there's something else that we need to do on that car. I guess let's go check our parts and see what all we get to do. Now let's get started with our PCV valves. I really don't know what size it takes. I guess we'll find out the hard way. I have a feeling it's going to be bigger than the 17. Definitely bigger than the 17. I really hope I don't regret this, but honestly, compared to leaking PCV valves, we got nothing to lose. These are just some cheap Rock Auto ones instead of OEM ones that, who knows, are probably like 50 bucks a piece. Pull one hose clamp off and that should be enough. I have a feeling some oil is going to pour out right here. Well, that one actually looks pretty good. I have a feeling the other side will not be the same. Well, let's see if we can get it off. I'm honestly kind of baffled that it didn't leak out for the suspected issues that we're having here. Next step, we're actually going to pull the balance tube and we're going to see if we have any oil down here in the intake, so that way we know if we're still actually pulling oil and it's just actually getting completely vacuumed up. I think typically if your PCVs are working correctly, these will be full of oil, so maybe that's the difference. I'm getting mixed up here. Uh-oh, O-ring sticking to the balance tube. Make sure if this happens to you, you don't lose that bad boy just like that, or you're in for a bad time. At least we know we lost it. Now let's take a look here and see what the intake's looking like. I don't know how well you can see that reflection there, but that is definitely not clean. Yeah, this intake is absolutely full of oil. So we're gonna go ahead and continue replacing these. Oh yeah, there goes the oil. We just dripped down on our exhaust. Best place to drip, you know, of all places. Good job, Caden. Smart guy. I actually just happen to have a pretty solid idea. Why don't we use like a 19 mil socket? If 17's too small, surely 19's big enough. We should be able to fit a socket on that. 19 appears to be correct. And boy, oh boy, is that thing on there tight. I feel like 50 foot-pounds for aluminum. We'll see if oil comes pouring out when we pull this PCV out. She definitely wet. Oh, no noticeable difference other than the new one's pretty noisy. I assume that's probably just the one-way valve here. Out with the old and in with the new. Nice and snug is all we're going for. Reconnect your PCV hose and your clamp. And now we'll replace with this. You can definitely say this one was leaking a little. Now to torque these bad boys back down, since we did take them off. Nice 12 foot-pounds. Followed by the driver's side. Alright, now we can move on to the next portion. Ball joints. Sorry if you guys seen my video a couple weeks ago, and I'm doing this again. However, we're going to do this a little bit differently. The last one I actually opened up. There's a little ring here you can pull off top and bottom and slide this boot off. Then I put a little extra grease here on the ball joint, and I looked up today and these are actually sealed from factory, so these should be good to go as a direct swap on, swap off kind of thing. So I think instead of just directly changing this, we're going to grab another arm so that way we can just directly change the arm and not have to take the arm off, press this out, vice versa. So we're going to find a clean one, But first we need to find out which one of these we have already changed. It's like nearly impossible to tell, but I think we have already changed the passenger side. Let's go find a driver's side lower control arm. And that is why we are doing this in the first place. As you can see there, we've got some really bad uneven wear. Now that the wheel's off, to remove this, you actually have a bolt and nut that goes through the subframe on both sides. You have to remove your tension rod, and then you have your actual ball joint nut right there. You'll have to remove the cotter pin while you're in there. But first, we're going to go ahead and press this out so we can just have a more direct swap. And to do that, I've got the almighty Harbor Freight ball joint press. Now to remove your ball joints, you'll need some snap ring pliers so you can actually remove the snap ring that holds your ball joint in place. This will probably be a little seized up the first time. I actually had to reuse this last time because the new one absolutely just bent and deformed upon removal. Probably should remove your nut because you are going to need this cone. What you'll do is take this, put it on one end, and then you need to find the appropriate cup to hug this outer race so that way this inner race can slide into the cup. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I don't know how to do this. I'm going to do it the way I did it last time. I'm going to put this cup right here, and I'm going to take this end, I'm going to tighten it until I can force this ball joint through by breaking the back side of the ball joint. And then I can use another attachment to get it out the rest of the way. So you see we got the cup on the back side and we got this pushing right here on the ball joint. So this is actually going to break the ball joint out of the lower seat and then allow us to get more access to press this bottom race out of the ball joint. I'm going to take my impact and just tighten it. Like that. Now you'll see what I mean by snap. It literally broke and the whole ball joint can be pushed directly out the bottom. That's the metal cup. Well, I shouldn't have took it apart. I actually just kept yoinking it and it pushed the thing all the way out because I realized I was going to have a problem because I actually can't get the nut off of this ball joint. Man, I'm really sad I didn't get that on camera. But now let's just take a wire wheel. Let's clean up all of this inside right here. Inside's nice and clean. Let's go ahead and install our new fresh ball joint. Now I actually can't remember if I said earlier, but I'm actually going to test here. I did grease the other ball joint. I took it off here by this spring and we lubed it up. This one I'm just going to leave pre-lube because I looked online. These are actually pre-greased and just directly serviceable. So let's test and see if it's really up to service. Now the same thing will apply here. You'll just kind of do it backwards. Set it up backwards. Get that boot. Squeeze through. A little bit of persuasion needed. Once you get your boot all the way through, we can actually begin pressing. We have this end right here that will fit in the big end of our press, and then this end right here will fit in the circular part that tightens down. Alright, we've got it on like this, and this back here will push this ball joint up into this cup, and then we can reinstall our snap ring and be good to go. Just like that, your ball joint is now freshly pressed in. We also have plenty of room right there for our snap ring. Now, let's go ahead and just swap that bad boy out. Look how rusty and how nice. In comparison, that is. So we've gotten this far with our new arm, and I completely forgot we actually need the collar right here off of this. And well, we're actually running out of daylight. Sun's about to go down, and I'm actually about to go on a hike, so we got a dip set. But I'm okay leaving this like this for now. Wow, mosquitoes are terrible right now. And that is because we're actually going to replace our upper control arms tomorrow. And I wouldn't mind starting with this side so everything will be all ready to go. And should be smooth sailing. Keyword, should be. Let's get cleaned up and we'll catch you guys, I guess, in a few seconds for you. 'Tis the next morning, and honestly, if you can't already tell, we actually had to come back out here last night and put all this back together. I was out eating dinner and I realized, I was like, oh crap, I got a doctor's appointment today. First thing in the morning. My car's not even drivable. And it was supposed to be thunderstorming today since about 4 a.m. Typically, the weather, it lies. And we got our wheel on. It was pretty self-explanatory, just that one bolt, 2 tension rod nuts, and the nut on the ball joint. Cotter pins in. It's about as good as it's gonna get now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that the rain holds off a little bit longer so we can actually change these upper control arms today. That'll make me feel way better about all of this. That's also one other thing we can eliminate is a possibility of what we're dealing with. I know I probably just need an alignment, and that's probably gonna be the next step after we do upper control arms. Car's lowered on coilovers, so those upper control arms likely need a little bit of adjustment for the compensation of how much it's been lowered. I bought a spanner wrench for these coilovers probably about a year ago, and I've still yet to use them. The coilovers themselves came on the car and I just sent it. So when we put our G33s back on, we'll definitely be lowering it a little bit to make it fit a little bit better. You know what I just realized? We changed PCV valves yesterday, so hopefully we'll be able to see a difference in no oil consumption and a cleaner intake. Let's head to our doctor's appointment. Just left the hospital. To my surprise, they actually aren't removing the stitches. I mean, I knew these stitches would dissolve in my head, or in my body at that, since I have one on my side. I thought that would just been a worst case, because you know, some people just don't come back for a checkup. But no, he said they're literally all internally stitched, so that way the stitches will actually dissolve. So that's what we're gonna wait for. Now let's head back home and see if we get any work time done today. We just got home and it's not looking too good out. We'll see. Indiana stinks sometimes, but it is springtime. It's bound to happen. So the weather actually cooperated. About an hour later, we went ahead and cleaned this one up. This is how it was looking before. Maybe you can tell, maybe not. We're gonna clean the other one up, grab our jack. We're gonna come out here and replace this. I think the ground's officially dry enough for us to start, so let's grab our jack and tools and let's get to work. I'm suddenly starting to kind of regret or decide not to do this or follow through with this decision. We just pulled these off the brackets. We're gonna clean them up a little bit more, post them for sale. If you guys get at me in time, maybe you can scoop them. Obviously not gonna be as much as them. They are brand new. We'll have to see how much they are, but probably half price. Looks like we got us our third shop cat. We have 2 black cats that run around here. Honestly, I have 0 complaints. We used to have a chipmunk problem. I'm sure you original viewers know how much I complain and gripe about chipmunks. Since I boarded up that other end of the barn, I really haven't seen any. They don't leave me walnuts everywhere. I've just got this cat that lays around in my cars sometimes. It scares the crap out of me at nighttime, other than my 2 black cats. Yesterday was kind of a bust, but I think what we're going to do today is we're going to change the front bumper on this thing. I hate KBD. I don't like this one either, because I've got a couple other bumpers over here. This one's like brand new. I really have no desire for it. Thankfully, I actually have a 1990 white twin turbo bumper. So that thing's going to spice this up a lot. And not to mention, twin turbo bumpers just look way spicier than the NA. I do maybe need to find a fender or door. I'm sure the fender might be able to be worked out. But when I bought this white bumper, I actually paid 20 bucks for it. Absolute steal, considering they just discontinued. So now the prices on them are ridiculous. So we just pulled it out, and I actually completely forgot. I did put a bracket on it already, so this may be able to be mounted. So we're just having stray cats running around everywhere. Maybe it's because they smell this car and all the mice we just pulled out. Oh crap, forgot we need some tools to do this. He's got the fancy dress-up kit. This, I guess I don't understand. We will reuse these somewhere else indefinitely because no one's ever gonna see this. Now I find this kind of funny. You see, this is held in by a zip tie. Well, pretty sure that's exactly how mine is. There we go. Looks like he's only got one nut on here because this stud appears to be broken, so either have to repair. Yeah, we'll definitely repair that. This fender's somewhat nice, other than the little crunch. Now for this dress-up bolt kit. Forgot I actually do have a socket set, and this is the smallest one. Will it fit? Yeah. Now let's just hope we don't break it. But luckily my buddy brought it to my attention. They actually have lifetime warranty even on Pittsburgh, so I'm dumb and I've been throwing away all my broken stuff. Good job, Caden. This one's scary. Oh yeah. So happy it's Friday. Get to go out to eat somewhere tonight. That's what I always look forward to on Fridays. What about you guys? Is it just the weekend? You get to not work because it's the weekend? Or do you actually have to go to work on the weekend? Now, yep, in theory this thing should just, yeah, come right off. Now, we've got no desire for this thing. As cool as it looks, I'd much rather have the original ready bumper, but those are a lot harder to come by. We may as well check this over. I don't usually use all the brackets. As long as it's got corner brackets and the bumper bar bracket, it's good to go. Since we actually have to pull this motor and fix a couple things and reseal it all up, we will actually wait to fully secure the bumper till then, because it only makes sense. The biggest thing I'd say when you're fitting your bumper is to always tuck your fog lights first. Then up here, we're also aligning these. Just keep them all three in mind at the same time and you will have no problems. Sometimes you'll get hung up on this and it'll kink your bumper up. As you can see right there, it's looking pretty good. I'm actually gonna go get some real hardware so I don't have to use this stuff. This will only be for like finisher stuff. I went ahead and just used one spare bolt that I found up here and the screw on this side to mount it together so we can get kind of a rough look at it. Not gonna shut the hood yet, obviously, but I was having troubles lining this up. Yeah, it's still bad. We got to bend some stuff. The bumper's been sitting for a while, so it's a little wonky. We was having problems fitting this back here. It was like a 1/4 inch off. Looked up here and forgot. I did that side before this side, and this wasn't in properly and it was hanging me up. So since this really isn't going anywhere, I don't see any point in mounting these right here. We're just doing a rough mount. So let's just throw this in so we can start to see kind of what the vibe of the car is going to be, you could say. Heck yeah, looking way better already. Forget that KBD crap. Drift car maybe, daily car, nah. We really need to situate that door now. It's starting to be the eyesore of the project. Need to source a rear bumper too. Maybe we'll make a post today. We can do a little bit of traveling. I don't know how well you can tell here on the camera. You can definitely see a little bit of damage there and how all the seam sealers cracked. So we got a little bit of repair to do in this headlight bracket. I assume it's been in a wreck, at least backed into or something. As you can see here, the headlight mount is broken and it actually has too much play. That's why this doesn't fill the gap like this does. But since we need the lower radiator support, that's not a big deal. We'll just tackle them both at the same time when we get to that. Alright, I kind of did the courtesy of already mounting this side. I went ahead and put one nut here just because it's bulging and doesn't fit due to that little bit of a collision. So I guess maybe we can get like a rough feeler for the car. So let's put the final touch back on the car. Kind of lines up. It actually pushes it up a little bit more because the KBD was a little rammed far forward, so it didn't line up as nice. Oh man, from over here, when you don't get the look of that red door that actually came off of this thing's looking pretty rad. You can definitely see the bumper here has some form fitting to do, but we actually have a lower shroud that we are able to mount to this. Even though the lower radiator support's so rusted out that we can put our fist in it, it still mounts a lower shroud, so fool me. I might have to say this was probably part of that same impact that hurt that light over there. Right now I'm on the fence. Should I just put another bumper on it since I have a couple? Or should I search out a white bumper and try to just keep this thing white? If I do plan to get an alignment today, I think the best bet is to go ahead and do kind of the obvious, because why get an alignment with a mixed match set of wheels that have crappy tires? I mean, these other wheels don't have the best tires, but they got two nice tires, but they just need to be fixed because they're too much like this, wearing out on the inner side. Let's reinstall our set of square G33 wheels. These are just on my slick top. They were on these last summer, but now we're actually throwing them back on here. The bronze on the red just looks too good, and the look on this car just looked too good. I guess it's probably a good thing nothing bad happened. I totally forgot to lift this thing up. Jack's sitting right behind me. Just pulled the wheel off, and well, you can definitely say there's plenty of room to drop the ride height here. Honestly, I just noticed something. This right here is like under this. How am I gonna get the spanner inch in there? I guess we're really not gonna lower this thing. Maybe a stupid reason not to, but honestly, as long as my car will drive right for now, I'll be perfectly happy. This thing's gonna look sick when we actually lower it. Think even if we just dropped it an inch in the back, how much that would close up that gap. I guess we're gonna clean everything up and call over, maybe see how much it is first so we can maybe shop around. I kind of got a limit on how much I'm gonna pay for a two-wheel alignment. Jeez, just putting these wheels on drops the thing like 2 inches. This thing's gonna scoop up literally everything. Like, it's literally as tall as my finger. Well, we were quoted 125 with the place we're about to run to. The other place couldn't get me until tomorrow. Bell Tire was 110, but honestly, they're kind of ate up here in my hometown. I don't really want to go there, not hometown, but neighboring town. I don't really want to go there, so I guess we'll just pay the extra 15 bucks. And at least I know the main guy that works there he's into JDM stuff, so that's good at least. Well, we've made it back home. Unfortunately, there was no mechanic there, as they say, to be able to give me an alignment. He just left like 10 minutes before I got there. I think we're gonna go tear down that VG that we went to twin turbo with the AMS V1s and the GT675 RS kit. So we're gonna tear that down just so we can see if the bottom end's toast. And if it's toast, we can just throw the block, crank, and everything out for scrap. And then keep the heads, just so we got one less thing sitting around in the shop. So let's go check all that out, see where we're standing with that. Hopefully we got a good short block, or hopefully a whole long block that we can use. Definitely been in a wreck. This plenum's definitely good. Those will be good to someone. Oh wow, that's not supposed to be like that. Yikes. Definitely shouldn't sound like that. That's what you don't want to happen. Oh my gosh, the whole time I thought this pulley was just messed up. This thing's been pushed down on the collar instead. Holy crap. There we go. Gee willikers. And now the EGR is gone. I think something may have been living down here. Luckily all the valves look pretty good too. I just happened to look at the valve covers. Yep, you can definitely tell this was in a wreck. Ah, finally. That doesn't look good. That's garbage. There's our total pile of unusable scrap. And here's all the reusable parts that we have came across. Will we make our money back? Who knows? Ooh, not bad. These all actually look like brand new. Can't say I fully recommend this one. I'm gonna have to say that's not very good. This side's actually pretty good looking. Well, you guys, I actually think that's going to wrap up the video. Now we've actually got this torn down. We are pretty comfortable that the crank's still good. There wasn't really anything crazy damaged otherwise, just like accessories and stuff that makes me think the block's good, and so is the crank. Now that we know that the scrape was just all that rust and build up moisture in the first cylinder, we're good to give it a bore 20 over and oversized pistons, etc., etc. I actually found a cheap method to do that. So stay tuned if you guys want to find out a cheap way to rebuild your NA to a TT, vice versa, with some cheap, nice OEM plus OEM style piston options. So far I haven't noticed any oil burn through the PCVs. Oil level stayed good. I think so far everything in this episode has been a big thumbs up for me, minus getting my alignment. So if you guys like today's video, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe down below if you're not already, so you can stay tuned for more content. And sorry for the lack of substance this video. We've had a couple things we needed to take care of, and I'm glad we got them done. Catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.